Hey, 4-1. What's wrong with these niggas talking down on us, dog? Talking about we ain't doing what we do. Nigga, we done been out here about like 10 years, nigga. We getting old, goddammit. Let's get it. We made niggas put them rose bottles up. We made the whole city boss they like fuck. Boss they like fuck. We made niggas wanna go and hit hush. Bitch, we made niggas, you know we love to stunt. We made niggas put them rose bottles up. We made the whole city boss they like fuck. Boss they like fuck. We made niggas wanna go and hit hush. Bitch, we made niggas, you know we love to stunt.
Hello and welcome back to the Georgia Tech Dynasty. Back at it with recruiting today following a big-time win. Really can't be understated over Oregon State, 30-17. That's our former Dynasty team. If you guys didn't know, I'll tag the video right here. We did a live stream, and then I posted highlights just a couple of days ago, so you can go check both of those out if you'd like. Great game, and off to a 3-1 start here. Not something that I expected at a one-star school. This was supposed to be a rebuild, but really not looking that way. So, also a big recruiting weekend for us. We had 7 or 8 guys that came in to watch us play this week. We had a big recruiting visit a couple weeks ago as well. We brought a couple of commits in after that big win. But getting back to the recruiting board here, Calvin Johnson Jr. still not looking great there. Still in 5th place behind a bunch of MAC schools for Lord knows what reason, but Corey Marshall's a guy that just came in on his visit, and we're battling with Auburn to get his services. We have some free points to use, so we're going to give some to him, trying to bring in our next good offensive guard. Also trying to bring in our next great quarterback, Mike Butler, 3-star out of Mississippi. Should be coming in on a visit pretty soon. Really solid player, 86 throw power, 75 accuracy, so not great, but he's a dual-threat guy, and he's not going to be a starter day one, so we don't even need him to come in and be a game changer. But with that said, talented player who we need to get. Tom Coach, top offensive tackle prospect on our list, offers from Cal and Michigan State, so a good mix there. He's 6'7", 275 pounds, which is just insanely good. Physical traits, good intangibles, so we got to give him some points. I'm going to back off a little bit up here because we're looking really good in some of these races in terms of Butler and Coach, so we don't need to go with the full 700 because we have a lot of guys we have to put points on other than them. Micah O'Neal, another offensive guard, and another recruiting battle in which we're going against Auburn. It seems like they're our biggest rival on the trail. We might have to schedule these guys in a non-conference game in the future, so we'll put a pin in that for now. But looking pretty good with him. We're in 2nd place. He already came in on a visit, so we're still kind of hanging around. Same can be said about Travis McMillan. We're in 1st here, but South Carolina's there. Georgia's kind of there as well. Matt Little, we're pulling away, and I love it because if there's anybody in this class who I really want, it's this guy. I'm telling you, he's only 66 overall, but he's going to end up winning a Heisman Trophy. I'm calling it right now. We're going to play this soundtrack back in a couple of seasons, and I'm going to prove myself correct. He's just that good. Barrett Robinson, our one and only corner on the board, battling with South Carolina for his services. I don't really need a cornerback this year, so I'm not putting my whole heart into this recruiting race. So that's why we're kind of chilling on him. We don't even need him that much anyways. You saw Jesse James there, backup center option. Ken Bryant is our top wide receiver at this point. We already have 1 signed for this class. We brought like 4 in last year, but it's going to be Ken Bryant or bust this year, so we got 500 points on him. It's us, or again, it's Auburn. Another recruiting battle between us and the Tigers right there. 3-star receiver out of Florida, 93 speed, 87 excel, so he'd be a game changer for sure. He can play on the outside. We don't really have that kind of guy right now. We don't really have an Ian Jackson either. 6'5", 255, rangy defensive end guy with some speed and good movement. Elliot Garcia, a big, stocky outside linebacker, 6 foot, 248. Moves pretty well, pretty decent. Has an offer from Memphis. That's why they're in 2nd place there. Not a must-have player, but a good player, a decent player that, we need to fill some of these linebacker spots because we're going to have guys leaving next year. That's why we're also trying to bring in Marcus Cutler there. He's got 325. Chuck Penn, our backup option at defensive end. He's got offers from UGA and some other decent schools. I don't really understand why. I've been trying to peg what specific thing they see in this guy. I don't really know what it is. I can't seem to target it. And then the last couple of guys here, Justin Johnson, Maurice Bryant, Robin Roberson, are all players I don't think we're going to bring in, but we're leaving on just in case we have an open spot or two for, whatever reason that might be. I really don't think we're going to get to them at any point, so they might be getting booted off the list here pretty soon. But that's a quick little update on what the board's looking like. We got a couple of extra points to spend, so we're going to dole out a couple of extra to a couple of different guys here. And as it stands right now, our class is pretty much halfway full. We have 5 spots left in terms of how many seniors are leaving. We have 11 seniors out, 6 guys signed at this point. But there are some juniors that could go pro. We're going to take a look at that later on in the episode to just kind of hypothesize how that situation might look, and who else we could potentially bring in this class with those extra spots at our disposal. But as it looks right now, this is shaping up to be a really good class. We're filling our needs, and we're finding some upgrades at a lot of different positions that, quite frankly, we need to upgrade at. And what we're targeting is raw power, raw speed, and raw agility at a lot of different positions. So that's how we're looking for Week 5. Let's go ahead and get into Week 6. Big game coming up on the road at Clemson. But before that, let's see how many, if any, commitments we got from this last recruiting episode. All right, let's see. Let's see how we turned out. Oh, a lot of yellow. We got 4 guys already at the top here. Corey Marshall commits. That's unexpected. That was the guy who we were battling Auburn with. You scroll down, there's even more at the bottom. Oh, I think we oversigned, and it was unintended. I did not expect this many people to commit this week. This is insane. How many of this is? 4? Scroll down. 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 commitments after this week. And I would say half of these were unexpected commitments. So I'm hyped, but at the same time, I'm a little concerned because I hate to oversign classes and cut players off the team because we oversigned spots. So let's go take a look at this. We'll take a look at the scholarship situation and the junior-senior going pro declaration situation as well. Wow, that was a bigger splur, if you will, than I thought we would have this week. So let's run this back. Let's take a look at it. So everything's really fluid at this point. There's still plenty of talented players left on the board, but we just don't have spots for them, I guess, now. So we have 14 guys signed, 11 seniors leaving, as you can see in the bottom of your screen there. There's 14 juniors, some of which are good enough to go pro. I don't know if they're actually going to go pro or not. We'll find out. We won't know till the end of the season. So as it stands right now, we oversigned our class, and we might have to be pushing some of these juniors out the door who want to go pro early. But let's look at who we got. So we start with Marcus Cutler, 6'5", 249, middle linebacker. This guy's a stud. 83 speed, 78 excel, 72 tackles, 73 hit power, and he can cover pretty well. The speed's all that I really care about. Everything else can be taught. So that's a great pickup. Elliot Garcia, I'm not as thrilled about. He's not a player that we absolutely needed to have. He's pretty fast. He can tackle pretty well. He's got some decent moves and block shed, so that's nice. Not a great coverage guy. Had an offer from Memphis. If there's anybody in this list that I think we could have gone without, it's probably him. Also got Ian Jackson, long, rangy defensive end guy. Pretty fast, has some nice moves in his bag. 79 finesse, 77 block shed, 73 strength. So he's decent. We needed a D end anyways. Had an offer from Ole Miss and I think Florida as well. Ken Bryant, someone I'm really excited about. If there's anybody from this list of commitments aside from Matt Little, I'm excited for him. 6'2", 208, and he's really fast. 93 speed, 87 acceleration, 83 jumping. He can run routes pretty well, 75 route running. We beat out Auburn for him. He'll be a stud, no doubt about it. Jesse James we got as well, 6'6", 338 guard from Georgia, so an in-state player. And we needed a center because our offensive line is not very good at this point, especially on the interior. And he's solid. 77 pass block, 76 run block, 71 impact block. So we'll take that every day of the week. Also 79 strength. So that's a great pickup. We need some help at left guard and center because that's the spot that we're giving up the most sacks as of right now from what I can see. So I like that pickup. And then we have our future Heisman winner, Matt Little. I know I said Corey Hawkins could win a Heisman. He's the 63 overall other running back we have committed, but this guy's a stud. 5'10", 210 out of New Jersey. He's just a full package back. There's nothing more that you could possibly want from this guy. Now, he'll need a year or two to fine-tune some areas of his game, but I'm telling you, he's going to be a stud. He'll be commanding the thumbnails of the videos and the featured pictures on there for the next couple of years. No doubt about that one. 94 speed, 83 excel, 76 juke move, 76 elusiveness, 79 agility. He can catch the ball, 70 route running. Actually, he can't catch it very well, but he can spectacular catch it well and catch it in traffic pretty well. I don't even need him to do much of that. 67 break tackle, 51 carrying. That's going to have to improve, especially at the running back spot. Like I said, he's a little raw in some spots, but, I mean, all I really care about is the 4 factors for a running back: speed, excel, elusiveness, and juke move. And he's above average or proficient in each of those 4 factors. So Matt Little's going to be a stud. We got Chris Grant right now. He's a redshirt sophomore. He's going to go pro early, though. Honestly, with the new rules right now, he could probably go pro after this season in real life after his 3rd year at Georgia Tech. And then we have Dante Simmons behind him, who's pretty good. But Matt Little's going to be just a transcending talent in this tailback room as soon as he gets to campus. I would go as far to say he won't redshirt and have an impact in his first season in Atlanta. So we'll see how that all goes. The running back tandem we now have are 2 players that we just simply don't have on the roster. And quite frankly, I didn't have over at Oregon State as well. So Matt Little, Corey Hawkins, 2 players you're definitely going to want to know in this recruiting class. They'll be spearheading the attack in the backfield, both as runners and receivers for years to come. And then we got Tom Coach, our anchor left tackle of the future, 6'7", big fella. Cal, Michigan State gave him offers, and he's just really solid. He's going to hold it down on that left side, keep our blind side protected. And then Corey Marshall we closed out as well. I don't really know how, because Auburn was in the lead for this guy last week. But when you take down the number 2 team in the nation in dominant fashion, I guess that'll do it for you. 3-star guy, borderline 4-star, I would say, at 75 overall. So a really good pickup there. And with that, we can go ahead and cut some of these guys off the board that we just don't need anymore. So Maurice Bryant, Robin Roberson, I'm talking about y'all. Same can be said about Justin Johnson. Just, I would love to bring in some more depth pieces, but we don't have the size class available to do that this year. We'll look to do that next season. Chuck Penn, probably going to go too. Yeah, he is. I mean, we have Jackson. I'd love to bring in 2 of them, but we've already oversigned. So we got to be insanely selective with the guys that we take the rest of the way. I'm highly interested in everybody that's left on this board, but I don't know if we can bring in any of them at this point, which sucks, because I would rather have Mike Butler, for say, or Calvin Johnson Jr. than Elliot Garcia or some of the other guys that we already put in the class. But it's a first-come, first-served basis. If you want to play around and use some leverage to get recruited by Eastern Michigan instead of us, that's fine. You do you, man. But as of right now, we have the top recruiting class in the nation. 14 guys signed. 13 of them 3 stars, one of which is a 2-star, which I think is probably a kicker. But let's go ahead and look at their numbers. We start with Ken Bryant. 4.36 40-yard dash, and that's for a 6'2", 208-pound receiver. That's insane. Travis McMillan putting up insane squat and bench numbers. When it comes to the linemen, that's really all you want to look at over there. So same could be said about Coach. Same for McKinney. These guys are just dogs in the weight room. That's a 620 squat. Corey Marshall with the same 430 and 630 bench and squat respectively. Pruitt as well. He's an athlete, but he's probably playing in the trenches. Rob Woods, who we've had committed for a while, runs a 4.44 flat. Hawkins runs a 4.44 flat as well. Jackson runs a 4.78 at defensive end, which is pretty good. Garcia runs a 4.6 at outside linebacker. Cutler runs a 4.56, and he does that at 249 pounds, which is insane. I'm trying to tell you, he's going to be a stud. Matt Little runs a 4.34 at 210 pounds. That's just insane. That's insane. That's why he's going to be good, man. He has the raw capabilities to be that guy, and he will be that guy. I'm telling you. That's insane. A 210-pound running back, all-purpose back, it's not like he's a scat back, is running a faster 40 than a speed wide receiver. And he runs faster 40 than Corey Hawkins, who's going to be a scat back. So that's just insane. Cannot wait for him to get on campus. I really can't stress that enough. But anyways, let's transition into the next segment of what we do on recruiting episodes, which is Drip of the Day. Now, I'm going through to see if we got any overall bumps as well. You saw Slater got one already, so he's up to an 89 overall status, I believe it said. Backup fullback goes up 1. Nobody in the wide receiver room. It's kind of fun to keep an eye on these week to week to track how your players are developing, because if they play well during the year, they'll get some extra overall bumps, and that's really the quickest way to get them to a 99 overall status by the end of the season or the end of their career. So nobody on the offensive line. Those never really get changed. Defensive line, nobody, at least at the end spots. Not a tackle either. Linebacker, nope, nobody there. But, 1 week they'll get a bump, 1 week they won't get a bump. It really just depends on how they performed the week before and things of that nature. I don't really understand it myself much. But you see a lot of awareness bumps for my corners. They definitely need them. Same for the safeties and same for, the safeties, free and strong. So now we've looked at the overall bumps. Let's go ahead and dole out drip of the day for this week. We're going to have 3 honorees, I think, 2 or 3. We'll see. We'll make that determination. We're going to start with Thomas Nelson, wide receiver 2. He's caught some big-time touchdowns already for us, one against Notre Dame, one against Oregon State. He's not really a flashy receiver, but he simply gets the job done. He catches the ball, racks up the yak, and finds his way into the end zone for touchdowns. So for that, we're going to go ahead and make him look nice for doing that. All right, we got Nelson. We're going to stick with the offense. Next guy we're going to hit is Joey Hill, backup tight end, who is playing out of his mind lately. Had a huge catch, couple of huge catches. So he had the stick and nod route, which converted a 4th down and 9, and then he had the dagger on our red zone play at like the 40-yard line-ish. It was a 4th and 3, where he took it, I think, 35 yards, got down inside the 5, and from there, Chris Grant walked in the insurance touchdown to put away the win over Oregon State. So this guy is really coming into his own, and he's a nice compliment to Harrison, who's our starting tight end. So we're going to go ahead and swag him out because he's going to get some more run in the receiving game and just, in general with the PT. All right, just 2 drip of the day honorees for this week, but looking at the championship contenders, y'all can already see we're up to 38th in the nation in the rankings, and it has us getting up inside the top 25 in the next 2 years. So we're way ahead of schedule with this rebuild. I didn't expect us to have this much success in year 1, off to a 3-1 start, and if we win the next game over Clemson, I really think that we can get into the top 25. A Heisman watch, we just completely booted Eric Copeland out of the list. He was number 1 last week, but then laid an egg, had a dud of a performance against us last game, so he's out. ACC standings, still not a whole lot going on. We are 2-0, so we have the best record as it is right now in the Coastal, but, we got some big games coming up. Miami's ranked, UNC's ranked, Pittsburgh's always tough. I know they're 0-3, but they're always tough. Heinz Field, tough place to play, and then we got crossover games against Clemson, and just a whole lot of ranked matchups to come. We got Georgia later on in the year, so it's going to be a fun season, man. We're only a third of the way in, a quarter of the way in. I think we're a third of the way in. Yeah, third. Depending on if you count the playoff or not. And we're already having a whole lot of fun. Oregon State drops from 2 to 14 in the latest coaches poll. That's a massive drop. First loss for OSU in a long time. I think since Penn State, like 4 or 5 seasons ago. So, it's been a long time. That was a monumental win. That's a huge win for us. Needed to have it. We got it. A lot of ACC representation in the top 25. You see FSU in there. Already talked about some of the other ones, UNC and Miami. BC's in the top 5, I saw, if I remember correctly. And, we're going to try to continue to work our way up there and see if we can't just make the playoff in year 1. Who knows? Thank you guys for watching, though. This is going to wrap up this recruiting episode. Next up, on the road, Death Valley against Clemson, ranked 9th in the nation. That's going to be tough, but, the way we're playing right now, I think we can go toe-to-toe with anybody. So be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for the post notifications, and we'll have this game in the next couple of days. Keep it locked right here.